we like to say get you a reader.
Yeah.
That means get you a burrito.
Yes. We're not talking about Troy Reader.
Yeah.
Never in any context are we talking about Troy Reader until now.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight. Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. Week 1 of the 2024 NFL season is in the books, and we are here to take you through about a dozen or so headlines from the week that was in IDP. Boys, it was a fun weekend of games. All of our teams played in either exciting games that were losses or, Addy, in your case, blowouts over some dumpster fires and soon-to-be fired coaches and fired quarterbacks. So it's a good week 1.
Great week. Great weekend. You know, we had the Friday night game. That was fun too. So it was a nice long weekend full of football. But yeah, you know, right back to fantasy. Lose on a stat correction in my favorite league to Josh.
Hate to see it.
Had CMC in 2 spots where it mattered. And then I played against Jaden Reed in 2 leagues where it mattered. So it's fun. Great to have it back. Missed it so much.
Why do we do this to ourselves, Bobo?
Yeah.
It's the question we're asking every week 1.
Hey, my wife, the only league she's in, drafted Isaiah Likely and started him. So,
Wow.
hey, what do I know? You know?
Yeah, what was it folks were asking? Who started Xavier Worthy?
Yeah.
I think I saw Adam Rank put that out there. I was like, I did.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
speedy guy for the Chiefs.
What's
Let's
not
just
to like
see what
there?
we got here. Still lost, but
4-2-1 40.
yeah, beat Adam on a Tyler Conklin just garbage time catch in the fourth quarter of that Jets 49ers blowout.
A lot of fun. Love it.
So much fun.
Gonna be a lot of tilting this week.
Love fantasy football. Was the highest score in Madness this week, though. So
Look at ya.
A little bit of
Let's
you
cut
know.
it off. That's enough. That's enough of this
Yeah,
one.
good
Been
Lord.
fun, guys.
I'd like to thank Adam's rankings for this accomplishment.
They're good.
They're
They're
very good.
good.
DeMarcus Lawrence looked great. Rashawn Gary got him a sack. Khalil Mack is looking good. So we'll get into some linebackers that I took that aren't looking so good.
It was a really good week for IDP. The offense let us down pretty much everywhere. You know, I think it was the lowest passing touchdowns in week 1 in forever in the NFL. But it does seem like in IDP there were a lot of really good producers, especially pass rushers. You know, if you started a Micah Parsons or, like you were saying, a Rashawn Gary, a Myles Garrett, you probably had a sack and you probably had a pretty good week. There's also a lot of really bad quarterback play in the NFL right now, so maybe that's attributing to it.
From Johnny's article, which you all should check out, it's out week 2, cornerback streams, theidpshow.com, free to read. 78% accurate for Johnny in week 1. Week 1 passing offense was down for the 5th season in a row.
Wow.
So, like we've said before on this show, you might be sad if you're playing just regular offensive fantasy football, especially if you were, had a tight end darling that you liked. But IDP, we're having a blast over here. So come play IDP. If offense is bumming you out, I promise IDP will make your weeks much more fun when the offense continues to struggle, which it does, because basically there's no preseason for these guys anymore. So, of course, they're going to look rusty.
Yeah, and if offense is struggling, defense is thriving.
Defense is feasting. Like, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
We got a lot of 30, 40-point scores this week. Some surprises. We'll talk about a few of them on the show. So, new this year, we are not doing the game-by-game recap that we've done in years past. If you'd like a game-by-game recap, go check out Aaron's article. Every week, he'll be recapping the biggest nuggets, storylines, things you need to pay attention to from each game, game by game. This week, we get 16-game breakdown. It's free over at theidpshow.com. 3,000-plus words, everything you need to know from week 1. And on this episode weekly, we're just going to look at about the dozen or so biggest headlines that you need to pay attention to. So, gents, let's just jump right in. Addy, you mentioned the game in Brazil, which was a fun fact I saw. There is actually, I think, a law on the books from the 1960s that prohibits the NFL from playing games on Wednesdays and Fridays. Wednesdays for church, Fridays for high school football. Now, you may say, okay, well, how did the NFL get away with playing a Friday night game in Brazil to open the season? It protects it from the second Friday of September onward. This was the first Friday of September, so they were able to get away with having that game. And if they move back to Labor Day weekend, they may get 2 games in on
Tuesday.
Friday before the game. That's why, if y'all remember the weird Wednesday game during the COVID year, I think it was a Ravens game or a Steelers game, they played it at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon because they couldn't play it on Wednesday evening.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
there you go. But speaking of Brazil, I think the biggest headline from the week, boys, was Zack Baun. Balled out in Brazil. We had heard the rumblings all offseason, and it was kind of an eye-roll inducing moment of, are we really going to have this Zack Baun character, this cast-off from New Orleans, be a starter in Philadelphia? He was, and he played 100% of snaps. He was a tackle monster, 34.65 points by Big Three scoring, 15 tackles, a 22% tackle rate, 7.1% missed tackle rate. Boys, I think Zack Baun might be for real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is league winner potential right here.
Absolutely.
And just the way he produces, right? He's going to be a guy that racks up a ton of tackles. We know about the big play upside because he is a good pass rusher. So, yeah, I mean, get this dude. Do whatever you can to get this dude. I mean, the linebackers around him are Devin White, who's already in the doghouse, it seems like, and Nakobe Dean, who can't stay healthy. So, yeah, it's going to be Baun. We've heard we heard the buzz all off season. The coaches love this dude, and that's continued on into the press conferences this past weekend. So, yeah, get Zack Baun. It's crazy that we're saying it, but it's how IDP is.
Yep.
So,
This is what happens sometimes. It's the Hassan Reddick kind of in reverse, where they had Zack Baun playing edge rusher. Turns out he's much better equipped to be an off-ball linebacker. Hassan Reddick, the exact opposite. They try to play this guy at off-ball. They move him to edge, and suddenly he has a career resurgence before costing himself $5 million by missing games and training camp and preseason and practices and all that. Bobo, there's not a lot of times that I say blow your fab to get a guy. I think blow your fab to get Zack Baun if he's out there.
Yeah, Baun looked awesome. Looking at the PFF grade, 71 tackle grade, 77 grade in pass rush, 78 in coverage, and then an overall defensive grade of 76. So you're exactly right. That game was on Friday. We all probably sat down and spent some time enjoying the Brazilian atmosphere. And Adam's exactly right. Here we are, week 1. IDP can be weird sometimes, and here we are being weird, saying do whatever you can to get Zack Baun, because sometimes Stinky is startable. And if we were to have said a year or two ago that Zack Baun was going to look this awesome in a Philadelphia Eagles jersey, everybody would have just laughed. But, sometimes these things just happen, Look at Frankie Louvu. You get some of these linebackers that just kind of exist for a couple years, and then they just hit one year, and it just clicks. And the situation is great. The scheme is great. And they look like 76 overall grade, defenders. Zack Baun's awesome.
Yeah, and got the game-sealing sack on Malik Willis on the Hail Mary attempt. And also, I think it just took a defensive coordinator like Vic Fangio. I think you drew the comparison, Addy. Andrew Van Ginkel. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very similar type of player. Cast off, kind of this hybrid off-ball linebacker with edge rushing upside. And it just took the right defensive coordinator to say, that guy, I can use that guy. Give me him. And I think he is. I think he's the only Philadelphia linebacker that I want because, yes, Nakobe Dean won the job. Where the hell was that reporting, beat reporters?
Yeah.
Before basically the team flight is when we found out that Devin White had been beat out by Nakobe Dean for the starting job opposite Zack Baun. But then Nakobe Dean goes out and puts up a 29 overall, I think, PFF grade week 1. So, yeah.
He was great in the preseason, though, Josh.
Right? It's like, what do you do there? Like, do you trust that Nakobe Dean, of all people, is going to hold on to this job?
No.
So I think Zack Baun's the only Philadelphia Eagles linebacker that I want.
And Fangio's a key piece to all this, right?
Yeah.
Like, he does not care at all that they brought in this new Devin White, paid him some money, former first-round pick. I mean, he was a top 10 pick,
Top
right?
10 pick. I think it was 8th overall or something.
Yeah, same with Nakobe Dean out of Georgia, third-round pick, but he fell due to medical stuff. Like, Fangio is gonna like love the challenge of having like a Zack Baun be his guy, right? So, Yeah, this is Will's up situation. You got to go get this dude. The question is, what are you willing to pay in redraft if you're a contender? You willing to send a third-round pick, future third, to go get you some Zack Baun?
I don't know that I want to spend draft capital because I think there will be some other linebackers. Like, we'll talk some waivers at the end. I think I would just rather go scoop somebody else off waivers than go flip a pick for Zack. I would be willing to blow a substantial part of my fab to go get this guy. Like, if he was available in our RSO league right now.
You miss out, though. You're not going to be able to get him.
I don't know that I want to go flip a pick for Baun. If I was going to pay, yeah, it probably would cost you a third, though. Because I think he's got top 12 potential.
You also have a piece that is still relevant, though, in a couple years. You know, this could be the start of his, like, Luvu ascension.
It could be, but everything we've seen up to this point is this dude was a non-factor in the NFL.
Yeah, but we got it. Like we've talked about a lot. Like, we've got to stop worrying about, like, this guy hasn't produced yet. He's a bust. Like, that. It takes some time for some of these guys. Some of these situations clear up for these guys. Like, Baun's the latest example of that.
Against a really good Packers team, he had 15 tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 TFL.
Ended the game.
The Packers are not the Carolina Panthers. You know, yep. I will give you a third. What's a third? A third is a dart throw.
Yeah.
You know,
this could be a legit top 15 linebacker this season.
I don't think you can get him for a third.
No, I'm not giving you a second.
If you have Baun, are you selling him for a second?
If someone wants to, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, let's just say
the third. I'm really thinking. If I'm not really a contender, I'll think pretty hard about that.
You know, the fun thing about Baun too is, regardless of your scoring, if you're tackle heavy or you're big play, Baun kind of fits both of those bills right now.
Because he has the pass rushing upside, dude.
You know.
Yeah. You should be a big play, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do the tackle heavy stuff.
And Adam, you're right. The Vic Fangio thing is a big part of it. That team could be crazy this year. The way they use Milton Williams, you know, Jalen Carter in the inside, those guys looked awesome.
Well, and also, like, speaking of Fangio, like, look at Bryce Huff. Like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't seem to be a fan of Bryce Huff.
I know.
Bryce Huff played 45% of the snaps. Like, not good. Got
Little red
outstaffed
flag.
by Nolan Smith.
Yep.
Like, not great. Like,
Not great.
you don't want to be on that dude's bad side. Zack Baun definitely is not.
Can you trade Nakobe Dean right now?
Yeah, he's the starter. I would try if I could.
Yeah. I don't know to who.
4th, 5th, anything?
Is someone going to give me a fourth
Give
for
me
him?
some
you
fab
can
so I
cash
can
out
throw
for a
some more
fourth,
towards
yeah.
Baun.
And
I was
I'll
gonna
probably
say,
take a fifth for him.
If you
truly.
had, $100 fab, and we do ours, I would drop in an NFL salary cap league 3.5, $4 million.
All right,
If
so
you had the money in RSO,
let's just say Baun's available, $100 fab league in sleeper. How much of that you throwing towards Baun?
$35, $40.
I think you're not going to get him.
Yeah, it'd be about where I'd go.
Okay. I was thinking like 50% is what you're going to
Yeah.
have to spend to get Baun.
It may be. It may be.
Was Baun the guy that was trending on sleeper last week?
Yes.
was.
There you go.
Shout out,
was,
Sleeper.
Yeah.
Added in 16.6. So 16,600 leagues, I think.
It's a lot of leagues.
That's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
is.
of IDP leagues. You love to see it on Sleeper. Another thing you love to see, old Gregory Rousseau,
Greg.
finally getting a healthy snap share.
That's not it. What did you call him last time? Oh, Greggy.
Oh, Greggy Rousseau.
Greggy.
Greggy Rousseau.
ah.
For 3 years, we've been begging for a full snap share for old Greggy. Sunday afternoon, it finally happened. Buffalo kept him in 79% of snaps. He had 4 pressures, 3 sacks, a 16% win rate, 16% pressure rate. The normie NFL analysts were talking about Greg Rousseau. That's usually my barometer of like, oh, so this really kind of captured some attention here. I think Robert May said Gregory Rousseau taking that leap this year would go a long way towards helping that Buffalo defense kind of rebound from losing a lot of talented players this last offseason.
Yeah, I mean, people shouldn't be really surprised, I don't think. I mean, we've seen Rousseau get better every single year.
Yeah.
Pressure rate, 14.7% last season. That was up from 14.4% in 2022. It was 11.6% in 2021 when he was a rookie. PFF grades across the board gotten better every single year. So, yeah, I mean, he's entering his prime. He's thinking about his next deal. I think he wants to be, thought of among the elite. And I love Rousseau. I've been a fan since he came out. So, yeah, we were just waiting for the snap share to kind of get bigger. And we talked about it a lot. Like, just be patient with that stuff. That stuff changes over time just because a team is a certain way right now. Like, let it breathe a little bit.
Well, let the talent exodus take away, some other options on that defense, and you've got a coach there that I think is maybe on the hot seat if this team doesn't make the playoffs and do well this year. This is the perfect storm for Greg Rousseau to get the kind of snap share that we're looking for, and maybe it's not 79, almost 80% every week, but can it be above 70? That'd be a big step up. And I think Gregory Rousseau could do some damage with that kind of snap share.
Adam's right. The breadcrumbs have been there. 2021, 4 sacks. 22, he had 9. Last year, he only had 6, but you're starting week 1 with 3. Now, I don't think that you're always going to convert 3 sacks on 4 pressures every single week. So that is probably going to level out a little bit. But the PFF grade was great in week 1. 87 pass rush and then an overall defensive grade of 87. Adam's exactly right. If you've listened to this podcast, you've known we love Greg. We've been waiting for this step into the light. And Rousseau, man, could be a top 5 guy for us this year.
This was the only hesitancy. Great player, ascending player, improving player.
Yeah.
Just give him the snaps. And I want to see it. I'm not going to brush out and say, locked and loaded, 75+% of snaps. I think that's a good lesson on offensive and defensive fantasy after week 1 is everybody just take a chill pill. We'll talk tonight about do certain things worry us a little more than others? Sure. But I'm not drawing any big sweeping conclusions. But it's a very promising start for Greg Rousseau.
But as far
we'll
as
take that.
dynasty edges go, there's a pretty small list of guys that feel like they could get 15 sacks in a season. Rousseau feels like that.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Fifth of the way there.
Yeah, you got 10 guys that could probably do that for you. And Rousseau might be into that category now.
And he's still really young, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably 24, 25, I'd say.
Check the ranks.
I'll get you.
Pull it up.
Pull it up. I believe coming near the end of his rookie deal because he was a first-round pick, right?
Yeah, this
by
is
the
year,
Buffalo
this is
Bills.
year 4.
Year
for him.
4. I believe they exercised his option as
Yes,
a first-round pick, so he'll be probably getting re-signed this offseason.
Rousseau, 24.5 years old.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's play a little this or that real quick. Rousseau or Jared Verse in Dynasty?
Oh, man.
That's a really good one.
How
old
about
is-
the same age.
I was going to say, how old is Jared Verse?
Verse is 23.9.
Okay, so yeah, literally, I think I would just take Rousseau. If the age is that close, just give me the guy who's a better player at this point.
I have a very, very clear answer.
Kind of like Verse.
Yeah, Verse looks like a maniac. All right, real quick. Rousseau or Jaelan Phillips?
Oh, man.
Jaelan Phillips, 25.3.
I go Rousseau just because of the injury. We'll talk about Jaelan Phillips. He's the next bullet point here.
You're welcome, Josh.
But
Trying to tee you
Former
up for that one.
Miami boys.
that's right.
Man.
He can't say it.
Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm going to still have to go Phillips.
All right.
Spicy.
Well, let's talk about it.
They're close. They're right there.
Somehow, Jaelan Phillips has returned, was on the field week 1. We wondered, would he miss? Would he start on PUP? Would he miss the first, short-term IR, miss the first 4 weeks? No, he was out there. 64% of snaps week 1 and looked really, really good. 3 pressures, 1 sack, 31.3% win rate, 18.75% pressure rate. I don't know how he did it, Addy. He's on the wall for a reason. Our man, the Greek god,
I know how he did it.
chiseled from stone, is back.
He's got that dog in him.
Shot that steroids into his foot.
Yes, probably.
Hopefully.
Likely, yeah.
I always love when people are like, how did this 60-year-old actor get super buff for this movie role? It's like steroids, guys. Like, duh.
Come on. They called me.
So hopefully Jaelan didn't do that. But, he's a freak. It helps to be an absolute freak of nature athlete.
Yeah, it also helps that they really need him,
Yes, they
The
do.
defense stinks.
Shaq Barrett retiring.
Yeah, and then, it's Manuel Ogba. He led in snaps for that group.
Yikes.
So, it's a bad state currently. Chop Robinson's still a little young.
Developmental.
Yeah, so, they need Jaelan Phillips. Luckily for them, he seems like he's, I don't think he's all the way back, of course, but he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And he didn't look like small or anything, you sometimes see with guys recovering from major injuries like that. So, Looks like the same old Jaelan Phillips to me. So
Yeah.
He was about to come up with a cool name there.
yeah, I was.
Old
I was
J.
like,
Phil.
I don't
J.
want to.
Phil.
JP. Nah,
Jaelan Phillips.
We can't cut
Jaelan
that, Eddie.
Phillips, yeah, just Jaelan Phillips.
Just Jalen.
yeah,
Just our baby Jalen.
good guy. Big fan.
Excited to have him back. I do wonder, is there going to be a ramp-up period, or do they just throw this guy back in like next? All right, the Achilles didn't rupture once again in week 1, so here you go, Jalen. We need you. We're on Thursday Night Football. Let's go.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see he played what, like 64% this past week.
64, yeah.
I don't think we're going to see like 70 this next week, 75. I think it's going to be like in the 60 range for a little bit, for like a month maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll see it probably ramp up if the production.
Just let him get back into game shape. And,
Yeah.
What's the risk for re-injury on that?
I have no idea. I did talk to our buddy Jacob, who knows a lot about physiology in the body, and he said with those kind of non-contact injuries, there is like a fraying of the muscle or whatever, and that it can lead to these sort of just inevitable injuries where it's like there was so much pre-existing like micro tears and damage. Like we talked about Dre Greenlaw. Was that just bound to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his takeaway. Was you do have catastrophic injuries where someone slides into your knee and blows your ACL, but those sort of non-contact injuries, yeah, there was just some stuff. They said it's expensive to get guys like scanned and looked at every single week, so they don't do it. But then they end up missing this kind of stuff, and these injuries happen as a result.
Why is that expensive?
But do you want to know about that?
Yeah.
If you're
Your Achilles is at about 60% right now.
Yeah, I would want to know about it so it doesn't pop and then I'm out for a year.
I guess you can rehab it then,
But that's like the CMC stuff that came out today about like the Achilles tendonitis.
That's
Yeah.
not good.
You know?
Tendonitis doesn't tend to go away.
That's what happened to Todd Gurley, man.
Not good.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah.
Running backs get old, man.
He got married.
That's right. He's coasting.
Them women.
You put on the happiness weight, the honeymoon weight. Vikings Edge Room, Addy, looked very good. Week 1, our long-haired beauty, AVG. Andrew Van Ginkel delivered in Week 1. Questions were made about his possible impact this season with Dallas Turner and Jonathan Gennard coming in, and so far it doesn't matter, especially when AVG is going up against Daniel Jones. He had 23 pass rush snaps, 3 pressures, 1 sack. Not a great win rate or pressure rate, but he did have a sweet pick 6. He's just a playmaker, man. That's what we've said.
Yeah, I don't like the shade that it was just because he was going against Daniel Jones.
That certainly helps.
This guy is
This
good.
guy.
He's good.
This guy.
90.6 overall PFF grade this past week. 3 pressures on 23 pass rush snaps. Jonathan Gennard, I do want to touch on him because he didn't do much box score wise.
He was a 0, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he did have 5 pressures on 39 pass rush snaps, led the edge rotation in snaps with 51, so he'll be fine. Van Ginkel had 41 snaps. Dallas Turner had 35 snaps.
Got himself a sack.
40.7 overall PFF for Dallas Turner, but again, the guy is young as hell, 21 years of age, so we're going to give him some time, but nice to see him get a sack in his debut.
Yep. So, how you feeling about your boys?
Feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Feel pretty good actually. Like now, it does help that it was the Giants, of course, but yeah, I mean, I'm a lot more optimistic about the defense. Like I can see it working, and then of course, like Sam Darnold, like I think it'll be fine. He's solid enough.
KOC, I think, schemes that offense well enough that you can shy away from what Darnold doesn't do well.
Right. We've seen a lot of these awesome offensive-minded head coaches where it doesn't really matter what quarterback you put in there.
Well, look at Baker Mayfield, right?
Yeah.
I think his draft mate, right? Drafted in the same class, having an absolute career renaissance in Tampa Bay. Sometimes it does just take landing with the right team for these guys to
Brock
catch
Purdy,
on.
I don't know that Brock Purdy looks as good as he does in a different situation. I mean, it absolutely matters. So feel good. I mean, we'll see. It could all,
Come crumbling down
Yeah,
tomorrow.
it's not like I'm feeling like, oh,
Here we
baby.
go. It does help in your
This is the
division.
year.
Jordan Love out for a little bit potentially. The Lions look really good, though. The Bears, I think, are going to be up and down. But
Yeah, Bears a bit of a
Head scratcher.
it's tough.
I think
maybe the tight ones are good at really good at defense. I don't
Also, the Bears are kind of lapping a little early. It's like, y'all chill out. Just because you got Caleb Williams, y'all weren't going to win the Super Bowl.
know.
yeah, I think
don't
they're
know.
going to be, between like 6 and 8, maybe 9 wins. They'll be scrappy. They'll be a team that is,
Maybe.
I think, potentially fighting for a wild card spot or something like
Bobby, you
that.
calling it now? Caleb Williams bust.
Busted. Just completely
Bust.
throw him out.
I agree.
I love the
Worse than Bryce Young.
The Will Levis surrender Cobra after the underhanded pick 6 to Tyreek
Boy.
Stevenson.
That was rough.
That was one of the worst plays I think you'll ever see.
Yeah.
It's a terrible
If
game
you had
to
told me
watch also.
a quarterback did that before,
Who would it have
yeah,
been?
I would have definitely guessed
Mayonnaise.
Will Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis probably.
Totally.
So I do love Malik Neighbors after the game saying, I don't know what's going on back there, talking about Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I love that.
The video came out of the guy just berating Daniel Jones as he walked out of the stadium. So it's going well.
The
in New
young
York.
kids yelling for him, asking him for $1 million and everything when he's walking back to his car. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, it's tough times. I think Dayball's probably gone by Halloween, and we're probably looking at Drew Lock around the same time.
Him and Kirk Cousins probably got the same agent.
Same thing with Robert Saleh. I feel like his time could be coming to an
said,
end.
man,
he's an odd dude as well.
Everyone was just penciling in the Jets as like a playoff team and a real force in the AFC. Well, first off, the AFC has a ton of really good quarterbacks, and that Jets team, man, it's just built on the premise of like 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming off an Achilles, and the defense is going to be top 3 again.
Offense kind of sucks. Like it's very one-dimensional. It's Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall.
Yeah, nothing else. Al
And
Lazard
the
lucked into
Patriots
2
might actually
touchdowns.
be kind of decent now. We thought they were going to be like a layup.
We kind of thought the Patriots were going to be what they were going to always be. I mean, that's a good defense,
I just thought that offense was going to be atrocious.
What
And they
about-
were fine?
What about Schrager? Always was in on the Jets this offseason. It was just kind of like, do you owe them one? What are you doing, Peter? Like, you're smarter than this, right?
I know. Everyone wants to believe. Everyone wants this to be the year for the Jets, and it's the Jets, guys. Like this is a cursed franchise. You might feel cursed if you're a Jack Campbell manager, because it seems to be Alex Anzalone forever and always. 100% of snaps. Derek freaking Barnes, 82% of snaps. Jack Campbell, 56% of snaps. There's like a spectrum after week 1 of panic where it's like, okay, yes, this is something that is legitimately very bad, and this is something not to worry about at all. I think the Jack Campbell thing falls closer to this end of the spectrum where it's like, oh no, here we go again.
Yep.
Because we've seen this story, right? This is just a continuation of what we saw last year.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the same as last year. So it's going to not be fun again in 2024. Jack Campbell's not going to get probably over 70% of the snaps this season.
Barring injury.
Right.
I
If
think-
one of those, if Barnes goes down or Angeloni goes down, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll have 2. I think they'll both, whoever, they'll both play a lot.
But I think short of injury, people were asking, should I drop Jack Campbell? Yeah, and redraft, I absolutely would.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with the headache of it, honestly. I'd rather have Baun, right?
Oh, 100%. Yes, no doubt.
That's crazy.
Isn't that
Would
wild?
you rather have Jack Campbell or Mac Wilson? It's another hot waiver wire guy this week.
That's, oh, God.
A team's
I
number
like
2
Mac
versus
Wilson.
a team's number 3?
And Wilson got like, what, 60?
Yeah.
69% of snaps, I
That's
think.
Very nice. I like
Probably
that.
Mac Wilson.
Yeah, and Mac Wilson's one of those types where he can do a lot with a little.
Yep.
So 70% is fine for him.
Yeah.
That's most
Yeah,
people's
he was
100.
62.3% of snaps. Kaiser White was 100%.
I love that, Adam.
Pretty good.
Mac Wilson's 70% is most people's 100. That's a T-shirt we're gonna have.
That's
coming
pretty
out soon.
good.
Like
Pretty
a Mac
good.
truck right there.
I'll get stolen.
Josh
Yes.
ruined it. It was
Sorry,
good, Josh.
I tried to kick flip off of it,
Yeah,
and I
come on,
broke
man.
both my ankles.
Jeez.
Yeah, I have Campbell and Madness. It was an upside swing of like crazy stuff happens during the season. I thought it would be better than this. I thought he would be in the Barnes role.
Right.
So
Same. That's what, but I mean, all the stuff we were reading, this guy is an alpha. He just looks like the leader.
leading the defense. He's got the
Yep.
dot, and it's like, no,
A
sure doesn't.
lot of puff pieces about
A lot
him.
of bad reporting coming out of Detroit. Like
Yeah.
beat writers do better, guys.
Yeah, it's annoying. We probably shouldn't put so much stock into it.
That's, I think, the rule of thumb I'm using is like, if this is a continuation of what we have seen from last season, probably good reason to panic. If it's just sort of a new situation or kind of something we maybe didn't expect, I'm going to wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
I know you all are not waiting to see what happens, though, with Cam Curl in Quentin Lake. Bobo, these next two news items are for you. We'll kind of hit on both of them here and talk about whoever you want. Good, bad, and the ugly for Cam Curl. You ready?
Aaron.
The good. Cam Curl played all 61 of the Rams' defensive snaps, 45% of those in the sweet spot. The bad. Quentin Lake spent 78% of his 100% snap share in the sweet spot, made 10 total tackles, and only had a 16.7% missed tackle rate. The ugly, Cam missed 28.6% of his tackle attempts. Defensive line-wise, we joked about what are they going to do to replace Aaron Donald. Just make up in the aggregate with Jared Verse, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Braden Fisk, and it's kind of working out so far.
Yeah.
So, Quentin Lake, Cam Curl, defensive line. Where do you want to start for your Rammies, Bobo?
I mean, we'll address it all real quick. Cam Curl's ADP this year was crazy. None of us in here were telling
This year?
every year? I'm just saying in the
Adam
best.
knows exactly when it got out of control.
Last year's was pretty crazy, but the ADP this year was still like DB 13, which was still really, really high. Whereas you could have had Quentin Lake at what? DB 80. Yeah, 80 to 100.
Before we started running our mouths.
And then Quentin Lake, man, I don't know. I feel like this has been something that we've been just absolutely banging the table for. Quentin Lake, one of 4 people on the team to actually play 100% snaps in Week 1. Quentin Lake is here to stay, y'all. I hate to tell you that. As far as the defensive line, this is, again, something that I have been excited about. This is something that I really thought was going to be the case. It was going to be, who can we replace Aaron Donald with? It's going to be a couple of guys. You know, it's not just going to be one person. It's going to be a mix of Kobe Turner. Braden Fisk actually played really well this week, I thought also. Didn't do a ton in the stat department, but was definitely disruptive. That team is going to be really good this year. The Detroit Lions are a difficult offense to play defense against. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs, you've got Laporta, you've got now J-Mo maybe, you've got Amon-Ra.
David Montgomery running it down your throat in overtime.
Jared Goff is really good. That's an awesome, awesome team, and the Rams almost beat them. So you've got a really, really young Rams defense. I mean, I think I saw something the other day that their average age on defense was like 25 years old, maybe one of the youngest defenses in the league this year. Jared Verse looks like he could be a real stud.
Yep. 6 pressures, 1 sack on 23 pass rush snaps, 21.7% win rate, 26.1% pressure rate.
Didn't he set a record this week? I'm going to look. I'm going to get on the old Twitter.
No, could be, Bob. He is a stud.
Yes.
He's going to be good.
You, Adam.
Dude, he has it, man. You can just tell dude's going to be a good ball player.
Yep.
6 pressures immediately, right?
Right out the gate.
70% of the snaps. So, I mean, what more can you want? We expected that, though. I mean, we saw what they did last year with Byron Young, gave him a ton of opportunity. We said this would be the same way with
Byron
Verse.
Young, 80.3%, Jared Verse 70.5%.
Wow, Byron Young still getting it.
Yep.
But I will say the only sack that Byron Young got last week, I think Jared Verse had 2 or 3 people on him. So it was pretty clear to me that it's going to be this way moving forward. If Byron Young is going to get to the quarterback, it's going to be because you've got an extra running back or tight end chipping Jared Verse on his way in. So I think Byron Young's going to be fine, but there's some regression to be expected from him.
Yeah. I think Verse is going to get 75% of snaps, like right off the jump, probably.
You know, and there's just something fun to the youth of it all. You know,
if you took Tre'Davious White off that team,
yes,
the average age is probably 24.
Gotta be.
You know,
because a couple years.
Yeah, but Tre'Davious White is legitimately like 32, probably.
And John Johnson, get him off too.
Yeah, kick those 2 guys off, it gets down to 23.
JJ played okay, actually.
Yeah, he got a pick right.
Tre'Davious got worked by J-Mo on that double move on the outside.
Yeah, he tried to tackle him, but he was too slow.
Yeah.
He's 29. He legitimately looks like 33 years old.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time.
Been around a long time.
Let's real quick, just because I don't know, this name's sticking with me dynasty wise. Jared Verse. Let's play this or that real quick. I'm going to give you a couple. The IDPshow.com, Adam's Dynasty ranks. I'm sure maybe Jared Verse will move around a little bit.
He will.
Jared Verse or Josh Allen.
Man,
that's a good
Josh
one.
Allen is 27.
27.2.
Just got paid.
Jared Verse, 23.9.
Yeah, I'll take Verse because of the age difference.
I think I will too.
All right, here's a toughie. Jared Verse or Brian Burns?
No, I think it's verse easily.
I think it's verse pretty easily. Yep.
Okay, let's. I don't really want to do this one because this one hits a little too close to home for y'all. Jared verse or
You got
Greg Rousseau.
verse.
Well, you did that one earlier. I think I'll
Did
do.
I?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we'll do Rousseau. I think I'll do Rousseau on that one.
Are y'all still good on TJ Watt? No,
Boy,
no
he-
consideration there.
He
with
looked phenomenal. They took away
He's so good
just
now.
two
riding him
sacks.
forever.
Yeah.
They took away 2 sacks from him. The refs did.
Not 30 yet. 29.9.
There's just no one like him.
Yeah.
There's like he is just
He's a freak,
He
man.
really is like a true positional
Like
advantage.
his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's no one like since
since
JJ
Watt, the closest thing we've seen is TJ Watt.
Yeah.
I do keep thinking you look up and I keep thinking he's going to be like, he's got to be 32 or 33 at this point. Nope, still 29.
Yeah.
And yeah,
he'll be fine.
he'll as Johnny the Greek likes to say, break a pinky toenail and be out for a couple weeks. But when he's in,
Right.
no doubt,
You have
like,
a potential like 4 or 5 sack
yep.
game, potentially.
There's not a lot of players that could score 60, 70, 80 points. He is on that short list.
Right.
We'll
And to do it multiple times in a
Yep.
season,
He had multiple 40 or 50 point games last year, I'm pretty sure.
every year.
Yep.
Dude's
That's
a freak.
What'd he do? Speaking of edge rushers. Yes, Bobo.
We're
Well,
gonna. Well, I love Quentin Lake. We're gonna lap that all year. I hope you're ready to hear
Yeah.
his name.
Quentin Lake.
Every episode.
I love it. I have him in Madness. I'm very happy about this.
You're welcome, Josh.
Let's talk about Coop being the one to scoop in Denver. Jonathon Cooper breakout season is happening. Hey,
Take
I
a
gotta,
poop.
I gotta read these headlines here. I wrote them. Jonathon Cooper headline: breakout season is happening. Get on board, folks. 21 pass rush snaps, 7 pressures, 2 sacks. That's a 33.3% pressure rate and a 29.4% win rate. Why do we bring those numbers up? That's what you want to pay attention to. Don't chase outlier production on middling kind of advanced metrics. Look at the guys with good win rate, good pressure rate. If they're doing that, the sacks will come, so be patient. We wondered who was going to be the guy that you wanted from this Denver edge rushing rotation. At least for week 1, it's Jonathon Cooper. Going to be a very hot waiver wire pickup. I know he's out there in our main league, actually, right now. So I'll be very curious to see what he goes for.
Yep, definitely. He actually led all the edge rushers in snaps. So 47 total snaps for Jonathon Cooper, 46 for Baron Browning, 23 for Nick Benito, and Jonah Ellis, the rookie, 21.
There we go.
So I'd like to see him getting some PT this early. But, yeah, fun group. I'm a fan of this group. I think we'll see Baron Browning pop off for maybe 2 or 3 next week. Like I think you could see the same thing for Nick Benito. It is a little curious that he was 23 snaps after how good he was last season. I think he put up like 8 sacks and was good from a PFF standpoint and all that stuff. But I think this group will kind of rotate some.
Yep.
I do kind of like Jonathon Cooper the best of the group. So yeah, I think that's probably the target. The most consistent, safest, still has, nice upside. Baron Browning has the best upside, I think, but I think Cooper has the most stability.
Clearly, the 2 guys that are cut above the other 2 are Cooper and Browning.
Yeah, you'd like to see that at least.
Benito, 34.3% of snaps. Jonah Ellis, 31.3%. Whereas Cooper and Baron Browning were 70 and 68.7.
Yeah.
So those are your 2 starters.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pick up Baron Browning too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, if he's out there, give me both those guys.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll be very curious.
And good stuff for Jonah Ellis, right?
Yes, I love it.
Go get him in your dynasty leagues. He's still probably out there.
One of those situations where if snaps were to open up above him, guy would slot right in. I don't think this team has any worry about him stepping into a larger role.
There will be snaps opening next season at least.
That's right.
Baron Browning, free agent. Jonathon Cooper may be close to being a free agent as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Jonah Ellis, we feel like his time is going to come eventually.
Yes, sir. Bobo, thoughts on Baron Browning or Jonathon Cooper?
Yeah, Cooper shouldn't be available in the XFL. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. We'll see how the bidding war turns out for Jonathon Cooper. Let's keep it rolling, though, boys, and talk about Sexy Dexy as the big star in the Big Apple. Thibodeau burns all the headlines this offseason, but Dexter Lawrence reigns supreme on the field. He was a monster from the inside, wreaking havoc on just 37 snaps, 22 pass rush snaps, 6 pressures, 1 sack, 50% win rate, 27.3% pressure rate. Evan Ringler is doing victory laps in his basement right now.
Yeah.
Because of his boy. I think he had close to 100% exposure to Dexter Lawrence. Yeah. This team is bad. They need Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns to be worth the investment of either free agent money and draft capital used to acquire Brian Burns or draft capital used to draft Kayvon Thibodeau. But I don't know, man. This Giants team feels like a big nuclear waste dump. But at least we've got Sexy Dexy doing his thing.
Yeah, it's not great there. Just not what you want to see week one. Not what you want to see advanced metric wise from Kayvon, a guy that was not great in that stuff last season. So yeah, a lot of question marks. Don't feel great about any of the assets there right now. What do you guys think? Bobby, you still feeling good about the 17
sacks and a top 5 finish?
I meant 1.7 sacks.
Oh, he forgot the decimal place.
Oh, man, that was a bad look.
Top 50 or 500.
Yeah, 4.6% pressure rate. I'm a little worried. It's still early. Let's not get too crazy in week one, Brian Burns, though, too, 5.0% pressure rate. I don't know. I'm not going too crazy for either of those guys, but it's a little alarming. That's a terrible team too. They're going to be asked to play a lot this year. So of the pass rush snaps that they actually get, how good are they actually going to be? Are they going to be exhausted?
Yeah, I think
they're behind a lot at least.
Yes, yeah, that helps. So we'll see, man. This just feels like an early candidate for. I think the Giants fans would love to be the 101 next season. The 101 and maybe the worst quarterback draft since 2022.
We could also see maybe Azeez Ojulari get traded at some point, right?
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence could get traded. I think
I'd be wanting out.
Great
Power him.
For sure. Great. I mean, we saw Leonard Williams get dumped last
and they
year.
could get a lot out of.
Oh hell yes!
They could get a first.
I think you could get a first or a second plus. Yeah.
Same with Washington. Those two, the older defensive tackles. If that team continues to lose,
Yeah, I think Johnny Newton was inactive his first week.
Oh, are we talking about Washington? I did pull up Frankie Louvu's.
Yes, please share.
I wanted to see how many snaps he played on the edge. Not a lot, just a quick little thing. 13 of his 58 snaps were played on the edge.
Okay.
So not that big of a deal. Everyone kind of freaked. Is he gonna be the new Micah Parsons?
Yeah.
No.
He's not.
He's gonna be Frankie Louvu again.
Yeah, 22% of his snaps on the edge, blitzed on 17% of his snaps. This is from John Macree's Week 1 fantasy report. Check that out, y'all. Just incredible work.
It's gonna kill him.
Yeah. It's like 10,000 words. I don't know how John. I think he just collapses in a pool of blood every week.
I'm podding with Macri tomorrow too. So if you want to go game by game for the preview, old Bob will be on for the week 2. Let's talk real quick. I wanted to talk about not Louvu but Troy Reader. There's been a lot of questions about
Everyone's gonna think his name is Get Your Reader.
Hey,
how long has that bit been going?
A long time,
dude. Since I think year 2 of the pod.
And people probably don't even understand what it means. Yeah. So when we like to say get you a reader, that means get you a burrito.
Yes. Yeah. We're not talking about Troy Reader. Never in any context are we talking about Troy Reader until now. So
that's where that comes from.
Shout out K Buenos.
He's available.
Miss K Buenos.
Mose. Miss old Mose. I don't miss what Mose became.
When it first came about.
It was a phenomenon. Yeah. It was lines out the door in Bowling Green.
That ranch, Chipotle ranch, they just smother on your burrito.
Welcome to Mose.
Have I told you my burrito little theory? All right, so you put your burrito there and you get it all made and everything. They need to massage it, mix it all in, because you go in and get just... Yeah. There's rice.
Yep.
Yeah. There's my protein.
It's segmented.
Let's get it all marinated in there.
Yeah, mix it up prior and then throw it in there.
Exactly.
So Troy Reader is available in our main league.
Yep.
And I need a little linebacker help.
Yep.
I'm looking. I'm sniffing.
Hey, quarterback of the defense.
That's right. Get you green dot. Look, I don't think Troy Reader is good, but I think for the next 3 or 4 weeks until Omar Spates is up to speed, Troy Reader is going to be LB1 for the Rams.
Great job, Josh. You've done my job for me. 44.2 overall PFF
He's
grade.
Not good.
Forget you. Make no mistake, Troy Reader's fine, but he's very, very mid. Was also cut by the Rams a couple years ago before they brought him back. So
probably could have used someone like Ernest Jones to stop David Montgomery from running down their throat in overtime.
Would have helped.
Yep. Because he looked pretty good for Tennessee.
The Rams did almost win, though, so we'll see.
That was because Matthew Stafford is a freaking maniac.
Yeah.
That dude's an outstanding quarterback.
Cooper Kupp's not going to make it through the season. That poor kid, if you continue throwing him 21 targets a game,
we're old, Josh.
Yeah.
I feel terrible.
We're getting there. Yeah. I barely got here tonight, y'all.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That poor kid.
But no, seriously, Troy Reader, y'all got any Roseboom thoughts?
Nah.
No thanks.
I don't know that I really want to try and figure that out.
Yeah. I'm same with you.
I feel like if I don't want to, go crazy getting Reader because it could be short-lived.
You know what you do? You go get Spates right now. Because maybe people are like, Spates just didn't play. He's going to. You can continue to watch Troy Reader keep up with J-Mo in a crossing pattern. Nah.
But don't we think Spates is going to have some growing pains too?
For sure. But I just think the leash for 2024 is going to be with Spates. I don't think they're going to let Reader and Roseboom just do this all year. I even think this could be a nice little opportunity to bring in a guy.
Why did you trade Ernest Jones?
Yeah.
If you're doing this sort of
This makes me so sad.
It's just dumb.
Ernie J didn't even play much in Tennessee this week.
Yeah, let's see what his snap share was.
Yeah, it was Murray and Gibbons, I think, leading the way.
Yep.
46.4%. He had 2 tackles. Rotating with Jack Gibbons. Kenneth Murray is the lone Titans linebacker we're trusting because Jack Gibbons, was 53.6% of snaps.
Yeah.
So in a true rotation with Ernest Jones.
Just give me K. Murray.
So we figured the trapdoor was under Jack Gibbons,
but Ernest is probably coming.
Ernest is absolutely coming on. He will be, I think, right there with Kenneth Murray as the 90% compliment.
Yeah, that's actually pretty encouraging that he played that much. Could have been in a situation like they played him like 10%. And you're like, oh God, it's going to take like till week 8 before he's relevant.
No, I think it'll be as soon as like end of this month.
I think so.
I think we'll see Ernest Jones assume that LB2 role with Jack Gibbons just as the third guy. The Chad Muma, the backup, the break glass in case of emergency situation.
Yeah.
Let's talk some safeties though, boys. Let's give some love to the DBs. Every year we see players who play deep. Ball out for IDP. They are the exceptions, but they are out there. Antoine Winfield Jr. looks to be out 3 to 4 weeks, which sucks. Mika Fitzpatrick, etc. Julian Love is one of those guys. 17.4% tackle rate, forced fumble, and a pick. I think we're looking at potentially top 12, top 15 type of DB season incoming for Julian Love, a guy we talked up a lot this offseason.
I'm pretty sure that would be his 3rd year in a row of top 12 DB. So dude needs a little bit more respect because people act like he's never done this. No, he's done it 3 years in a row, and he's a perfect fit there in Seattle.
Him and Rayshon Jenkins both got 100% of snaps,
and Seattle, gave him a nice little deal. So they're fans of him. So
12 tackles.
This is great stuff.
Interception, forced fumble, playmaker.
He's awesome. Yeah, he's good. He's going to be doing it for probably another 2-3 years, I'd say. So
we feel great about
top 12 dynasty safety.
I think so. Why not?
He's a top 7 redraft safety.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
we feel great about Julian Love. Bobo, I think you brought it up. Seeing Adams on the back of a New York Jets jersey of a secondary player was giving us some
chills,
giving us some Prez flashbacks. We had Tony Adams being the human missile for the New York Jets there in the Monday Night Football game against the 49ers. But, Jamal Adams was actually good for IDP once upon a time. And Tony Adams was good on Monday night, 16.7% tackle rate, 100% of snaps. I mean, you could do worse than Tony Adams. He's out there on probably most waiver wires, I would say.
Every year this happens. First couple weeks, we get some safeties that, none of us really expected to get much playing time. And I'd be cool throwing Tony Adams a little bag just to see if it sticks. Week 1, I don't know that we're going to expect the IDP production that he put up, week in, week out. But, throw some money at him, see if he can continue producing for us. I'm cool with it. Addy, you good?
Definitely. I mean, it could be this year's Josh Metellus.
Yep,
right?
Absolutely.
He played more box snaps this week than any safety in the league.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we definitely want that.
Wow.
As did Chuck Clark, who was second in box snaps across all safeties. So that's a little interesting, right? Because you have C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams, but then you have kind of a Vikings situation where you also have these 2 box safeties leading the league for safeties and box snaps. That's kind of interesting.
Julian Love, Tony Adams, 2 top scorers on the week by far, pretty much.
Yeah,
So-
I think you got to pick up him. He's probably the.
Top safety pickup,
I'd say so.
unless Lake is out there.
Blake, Taylor Rapp,
Yeah.
he could be out there. Rapp got good usage. He's going to be productive there.
Get
Tron
you
Johnson also got banged up. In that
get you Nubin was somebody that John called out.
Nubin, yeah, big
Yep.
fan of him.
Full-time role. So decent usage in the box.
That's
so,
good.
There you go. Those were the headlines that we had. Boys, is there anything else that you all want to touch on from week 1 that we
let's
did
do
not
this
discuss yet?
Real quick, Addy, anybody you're panicking on right now? Anybody already, everybody's kind of freaking out right now. Not only, defensively, but also offensively as well. Anybody in your all's minds that you're like, this is one little red flag. I'm kind of worried.
KJ Britt.
I was going to say, KJ Britt, I'm a little worried
The
about.
hype was a little too high.
Okay.
Now that we saw what happened after week 1, and then Savassier Dennis looked pretty good and
Yeah.
made plays with his opportunity. So that stuff gives me some concern.
Mm-hmm.
But
It could have been a situation where you have an athletic quarterback that's known to escape the pocket, so you bring in the athletic Savassier Dennis. I'm chalking that up to I want to see if this is a game. A lot of this stuff I think might be game plan specific. But I'm also worried a little bit about McDuffie. 2 guys that I had as flag plants. McDuffie, played well, but you also have Matt LaFleur saying, Jaelan Cooper looks pretty good, and we expect him to get some more work as the season goes on. So that's maybe going to be at the expense of McDuffie. Maybe it'll be at the expense of Quay Walker. I mean, I saw some tweets saying Quay Walker is going to be playing special teams by Halloween.
bet you wished you had a few more flag plans, didn't you?
I should have done about 36 flag plants.
That's right. Adam wins again.
Adam wins again. Thank you again for those ranks, Eddie. The week 1.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Week 1 madness winner here. Appreciates
We
those.
got to look at let's look at our RSO league too, though.
Let's do it.
And kind of talk about some guys that are going to.
There were some decent names out there.
hot topic.
Let's do this
It's
real
all of our
quick.
favorite store.
Hold on. Yes,
Look
it is.
in there. Let's do this
Bobo,
real quick.
are you panicking on anyone? Because KJ Britt, we talked about Jack Campbell.
All right, the big name. Are we worried about Foye?
No.
Okay.
No.
85% snaps. You're cool.
I'm fine.
All right.
Well, let's see what it does this week. And
But should we pay attention to the young gun, Louisville?
Yasir?
Yes.
Abdullah? Is that his name?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we should not pay attention to him. I'm sure that is his name.
Josh.
Probably not.
Okay.
No.
Probably not. I think it's going to be Foyer's. I will not be shocked if he's back up to 100% this week.
Okay.
Yeah, one of those things I think
Expect
we'll
him to be,
look
honestly.
back on and be like, well, that was a weird week 1 anomaly.
Bobby Wagner looked pretty bad last week.
He did.
A couple plays. Looked a little sluggish.
No, he's old.
He's very
He's
old.
34.
Yeah.
Very old. Who's there, though, besides him and Frankie?
Hey, speaking of, where did Kaliki Hudson sign today?
Browns, baby. Let's
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be
Be
something.
fun. Our most rostered player in best
JOK
ball.
and Jordan Hicks both struggle with health at times. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he could get an opportunity.
JOK,
What happened there in Washington.
100% of snaps. Love to see that.
Landon Roberts.
Yeah. Peyton Wilson season, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
boys.
What did
Peyton Wilson.
Atlanta Roberts have snap-wise?
Did
It was a pretty much an even split. I will give you the breakdown here.
didn't
It
put
was
up anything. No stats.
It was Peyton Wilson 42.9% of snaps, Landon Roberts 41.1. It may already be Jover for Landon Roberts.
That's true.
It may already be Jover for Patrick Queen. That's the one I'm legitimately like.
That was a concern.
It was
yeah.
a very bad game for Patrick Queen. A lot of it took the Steelers one game to regret signing Patrick Queen tweets out there in the streets. So
Yeah, I mean the he could be cut after 1 year stuff is very true. The contract
Yep.
is built for that.
Yep,
We discussed that, but yeah, 2 tackles?
3 tackles. Yep, 100% of snaps.
Not great. PFF grades any good? Probably not, I'd say.
No, I think he was 29.
Oh my god.
I think he was. I'll look it up. It was
He's
in,
back.
him and Roquan both were in the 20s. We're legitimately in the 20s, bro.
He got his money.
He got his money. He got paid.
I
It's
wish
like
that was
time
the
to
first
suck,
time in the
baby.
history of this podcast that you've done that. That was the milder version. The last time you did that, I thought your head was going to blow off.
Yeah, I've had to turn it back a little bit. People
Yeah,
don't-
so-
people don't like that.
Roquan, they do get mad about it. Roquan was
People
20.
don't care for me.
Yes, they don't, as we found out. But if you
they're
don't
in the
like
ranks.
Addy, get out of here. Like, don't listen to the show. Go away. We don't want you. We don't like you. Patrick Queen. Yes. Okay. So Roquan Smith without Patrick Queen, 29.4 overall grade, 37.3 in coverage. Now is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs make a lot of people look bad. Sure. But Queen was 28.8 overall.
Wow.
26.1 tackle grade, whopping 57.1% missed tackle rate. Just 2.5 points scored on
great.
100% of snaps.
Not great.
Panic meter, he's over here with Jack Campbell in oh shit land. This is not good.
Yeah.
Especially with Peyton Wilson getting basically the LB2 job already over
Yeah.
Landon Roberts.
That's the problem with Queen, to where it's just like you've got this super sexy Peyton Wilson just looking at you.
That's
Oops.
a pickup right there. If Peyton Wilson was not
Yeah.
taken in your rookie drafts, if he's
Yeah.
out there on waivers, I think
Could get
scoop him.
dropped.
Yeah,
People
scoop
try to
him and
make
stash him. Scoop him and stash him because I think he might be coming. So I don't want to totally throw in the towel on Patrick Queen, but it was about as bad of a start as you possibly could have imagined.
All right, looking at the available free agents for us to pick
do
up in our RSO league. Top scorer out there, Alante Taylor, shout out.
Yes.
Probably not going crazy.
I'm never going to spend a lot on corners. I'm just going to stream.
Yeah.
I picked up Roger McCreary, and he got me like 15 points. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Johnny.
Taylor, I think, only played like 7% of the snaps. So, I mean, that's not someone I'm probably going to go crazy about. He did this last year, too. I think he, balled out week 1. You remember that?
Yes.
Daryl Taylor, though, somebody that's going to be a hot topic.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we've talked about it a lot. There's no one around Montez Sweat.
Yep.
I mean, we were talking ourselves into the
Austin
fifth round
Booker.
Austin Booker.
Yeah.
Although I did see where DeMarcus Walker actually played a really healthy share. It was
He
like
did.
70%.
No, it was 82.8%.
82%.
He played more than Montez Sweat, 68.8. Darrell Taylor was 59.4% of snaps.
Wow.
And I think Walker looked good from PFF standpoint and all that stuff.
15.6% pressure rate, 25% win rate.
So, I mean, notable.
Yes.
But, I mean, Daryl Taylor is a guy that actually gives us production. That's all great for Walker, but that dude just never produced at any point in his career.
2 sacks for Darrell Taylor.
Walker, Daryl Taylor is actually stacked up a surprising amount of sacks. You'll look at his career stats and you're like, wow, this dude's got 30 career sacks already. So I'll roll the dice on him. Maybe Jonathon Cooper's out there. I would definitely prefer Cooper over him.
Yep, I would prioritize Cooper there.
And then
There were some decent linebackers. I think Mac Wilson was out there. Troy Reeder was out there.
Zack Baun is out here.
Zack Baun is out there in our XFFL league. Pretty sure Lauren has him.
Actually, maybe I'm looking at my other league.
Yeah, I think Mac Wilson's out there. Troy Reeder's out there. There was someone else, another kind of juice. Oh, Savasier Dennis was out there. So power rank those 3
Also,
for
Derek Barnes
waiver
is out
pickups. Yeah, Derek Barnes. Let's throw him in the mix as well.
Gosh.
No.
3 tackles on whatever
I'll
percentage
say-
he got.
Probably not Servassier Dennis either.
I'll say probably I want Reeder over Mac Wilson, just because I think Reeder was the leading snap getter, wasn't he,
I
for the
think-
Rams?
Yeah, but I kind of think Mac Wilson sticks around
100% of
the
snaps.
entire year and maybe sees his role increase.
Yeah.
Whereas Reeder, I'm worried that it's going to be over at any point.
For sure.
And also, it's does he have big play upside? I don't think so. I think he's just like a Cody Barton, just gets tackles and that's it. So I probably would go Mac Wilson.
Mac Wilson 1. I'd go
Baun obviously in 1 if he's
yes,
out there.
if he's out there, blow your fab. Get this guy far and away in a tier of his own, and then several tiers down would be Mac Wilson and Troy Reeder. Mm-hmm. So,
but I mean, Baun's going to be like a top 20 linebacker going forward.
here's the move. I have KJ Britt in that league. If the linebacker waiver claims I have don't pan out, I might scoop up Dennis just as a sort of linebacker handcuff if it does flip flop and
hope for a injury to KJ Britt.
right, exactly. Maybe it clears up somehow. Maybe Britt gets hurt, or maybe they,
Dennis gets hurt.
Yeah, I think the picture will clear up at some point, one way or the other. So it's a fine handcuff, especially if you have Britt.
And then so safeties, we're going Tony Adams is the number 1 ad.
Quentin Lake if he's out
Quentin
there.
Lake.
I think
And
I
also
would
he
put
may
first.
get cornerback designation in some leagues.
Who,
Yeah,
Quentin
that's
Lake?
true.
Yes.
That's nice.
Also, Kirby Joseph is pretty solid, too. He got good usage. He had 50% of his snaps in the sweet spot. So he's fine. I mean, it seems like he might be the starter there.
He got 50. Let's see, right at 50% box and slot.
So, I mean, he's gonna be fine. He was good at stretches last year. So, look at PJ Locke's out here in this one.
54% box and slot for Brian Branch. If you kick that up to include defensive line, about 56, 57% in the sweet spot for Branch. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Kirby Joseph, basically 50% deep safety, 50% box/slot for Kirby Joseph. So we wondered what position Brian Branch would play, and it is safety, and it's kind of a mix right now. Box, deep safety, and slot were pretty close in terms of percentages for week 1.
Probably not as good as last year's usage, though, right? Where he was exclusively slot, overhang.
That was the lowest one. Deep safety was the highest, and then box. So, Bobo, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I got lots of thoughts, but nothing that's
Nothing suitable for this podcast. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this week 1 roundup of the biggest headlines from IDP. We'll be doing this every single week on Tuesday nights, looking at the top 10 to 15 storylines, trying to help you understand what matters and what doesn't for your IDP leagues. We have Jason King coming up this week on the IDP After Show with Jace Abbey. They will be previewing week 2. Bobo, as he said, is on with John Macri, PFF Fantasy Podcast, breaking down week 2 for your IDP leagues. Jeff Palmazal will be back with the IDP update, all the headlines you need to know from this week news. 10 minutes or less, subscribe over there. And then, Addy, we had a pretty good start with IDP bets. You, Johnny, and Mr. Varnes, I think, went 6-2 with kind of your headline bets for week 1.
Yep, that's right. That's what we do.
Making money.
I tailed some of them, made some money this weekend, so I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and then, we're still, knocking the rust off. So, And also, Vegas has gotten really sharp with these lines. Like last year, they were a lot softer, a lot easier. Vegas knows what they're doing. I think they're tuning into the pod, honestly.
I think they're locking in. I think they're tuning into bets.
Singleton had like a 10.5 tackle line.
Did he really?
Josie Jewell wasn't even available to bet on. There's a lot of flags that
Vegas
knows something.
Yeah.
Somebody's in the ranks.
Yeah, I think so. They're
Vegas,
subs.
it's just
subs.
Vegas. It's a V and a G circled on the Dynasty spreadsheet. Adam's like, who is this? Oh, it's Las Vegas, the city.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in.
Sin City.
Sin City, baby.
We should go there sometime.
I go there every year. I go there for every year. Y'all come with me. Wild Card Weekend. I hang out in the pool at Circa, eat good food, watch football.
Just us three and your
We're gonna do
wife.
it.
Yeah, that'd be great. She wouldn't
Be a good
mind.
time.
Yeah, she
Allie.
could go get her nails done, go to the salon or, whatever.
I gotcha.
Leave us to do
Drive
Like
us
my
or
coffee
grab us
black,
around.
a
Josh.
poolside podcast.
Sure.
That would be dope. Circa was awesome. You guys would love it.
Allie, I
Vegas
go to bed
is-
early.
We do too, man. No kids. We're in bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Just
Bruh.
snoozing.
Bruh.
Sounds good.
You ever thought
Speaking
about
of
what that
which.
life would be like, that Pacific Coast life?
Yeah, sports would be a lot different.
You know?
You're done like at 9 o'clock with the games. That's insane.
Be kind of nice.
Yeah.
Games kick off.
Start like right when you get off
at
work,
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
and then 10
West
a.m.
Coast
in
time.
the morning. That's
Yep.
lovely. Having it with
Beautiful.
some coffee.
You don't got to wait till noon
Yeah,
Central Time.
We should try that. We should move out there.
we should move out there for a Sunday.
Hey, respond in the comments where we should move.
Let us know. Addie wants a farm that's just a golf course, actually.
yeah, so farm out west.
There you go. Farm out west.
I guarantee you there's
Where
some
could we go?
abandoned farm we could buy out west.
Yeah, winery or something.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but we could use the podcast
Yeah,
money.
put Josh on a tractor.
Get
Yeah.
a nice little
Farming.
cardboard
Take some
box.
pics of
Get him
them.
some sun.
Sure.
All right.
Vitamin D.
Let's go to bed,
Right.
boys. Speaking of bed, let's go to bed.
Good luck to you guys out there. Thank you for tuning in to
We
this
love you
show.
guys.
We love you guys.
We're going to get out of here. We will see you all next week for the Week 2 recap. Until then, y'all enjoy the football, and we'll see you soon.
It's the IDP show, now you know.